In the quiet corridors of justice, there are files that gather dust not because the leads have run dry, but because they point to places our world says cannot exist. Some crimes defy logic, but a select few seem to defy reality itself. These are cases where the evidence points beyond the tangible, where the only witnesses are not of this world, and where the line between criminal investigation and the paranormal dissolves into shadow. Number 5. The Hinterkaifeck murders. In 1922, on a remote Bavarian farmstead, 6 members of the Gruber family were brutally slain with a pickaxe. The crime was horrific, but the preceding events were even stranger. Days before the murders, the family reported hearing footsteps in the attic, finding a strange newspaper on their property, and noticing a set of house keys had vanished. Most unnervingly, tracks in the snow led from the forest to the farm, but none led away. Police found evidence that the killer had remained on the farm for several days after the murders, tending to the livestock and eating meals in the kitchen, surrounded by the deceased. Despite hundreds of interviews, no suspect was ever named. It was as if a phantom had emerged from the woods, committed an atrocity, and then simply became one with the farm. Number 4. The Villisca Axe murders. On a June night in 1912, the small town of Villisca, Iowa, became the site of a massacre. All 8 residents of the Moore house, including 6 children, were bludgeoned to death in their beds. The killer had covered every mirror and pane of glass in the house with cloths and clothing. A local minister, Reverend George Kelly, became a primary suspect after he reportedly confessed to the crime in a trance-like state, claiming a voice had commanded him to slay utterly. He even attended the victim's funeral, displaying an unnervingly detailed knowledge of the crime scene. Though he was tried twice, he was ultimately acquitted. The murders remain officially unsolved, leaving only the chilling spectre of a man who claimed to be a vessel for a malevolent, unseen force. Number 3. The death of Elisa Lam. In 2013, the disappearance of a young Canadian student from the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles captivated the world. Her body was discovered weeks later inside a sealed water tank on the hotel's roof, an area that was locked and alarmed. The case took a deeply strange turn with the release of elevator surveillance footage. The video shows Lam acting erratically, hiding in the corner as if from an unseen pursuer, and making strange, disjointed gestures with her hands. She appears to be conversing with someone, or something, that isn't there. Her death was ruled an accidental drowning, but this fails to explain how she accessed the roof, climbed into the heavy-lidded tank, and closed it from the inside. The Cecil Hotel's dark history of unexplained deaths and paranormal activity adds a haunting layer to a tragedy that defies any logical explanation. Number 2. The Teresita Basa case. In 1977, respiratory therapist Teresita Basa was found deceased in her Chicago apartment, the victim of a robbery and arson. The case quickly went cold. Months later, another therapist, Remy Chua, began experiencing visions. She claimed that the spirit of Teresita Basa was appearing to her, identifying her killer as a fellow hospital orderly named Alan Showery. In a trance, speaking with Basa's voice, Chua provided details that only the killer could know, including the fact that Showery had stolen Basa's jewelry and given it to his girlfriend. When police investigated, they found the stolen items exactly where the spirit said they would be. Faced with evidence seemingly from beyond the grave, Showery confessed. It remains the only known American murder case said to be solved by the victim's own ghost. Number 1. The Dyatlov Pass incident. In the winter of 1959, 9 experienced hikers ventured into the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. They never returned. When a search party found their campsite, they discovered a scene of inexplicable terror. The hikers' tent had been sliced open from the inside. Their bodies were found scattered nearly a mile away, some clad only in their undergarments despite the sub-zero temperatures. Several had sustained massive internal injuries consistent with a powerful blast or car crash, yet showed no external signs of trauma. One victim was missing her tongue. Most bizarrely, some of their clothing was found to be highly radioactive. Theories have ranged from an avalanche to a secret military weapons test, but none can account for all the facts. It was as if the group was fleeing an invisible, crushing and radioactive force, a terror so profound that they ran from their shelter into a frozen grave. The patterns of our world are built on cause and effect, on logic and reason, but these cases linger in the margins, like footnotes in a story we are not meant to fully understand. They remind us that not all doors are meant to be opened, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths are the ones that have no human explanation. The evidence doesn't disappear, it simply waits in the shadows, pointing toward a reality far stranger than we can imagine. Thank you for watching.